Joke time! Like and subscribe!
A school teacher gives her second grade class the assignment of telling the class something they learned from a member of their family. Little Johnny begins by telling the class that his family raises chickens and sells eggs. One day they were taking their eggs into town in a basket, and they went over a bump in the road, causing several of the eggs in the basket to break. The lesson learned was, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Little Mary said her family raised chickens also, and sometimes they would put a dozen eggs in the incubator, and only 7 or 8 of them would hatch. The lesson learned: don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Little Billy proceeded to tell a story about his Uncle Harry, who was shot down over a tropical island during World War II. Uncle Harry parachuted out of his plane only to be surrounded by cannibalistic natives. As the natives were closing in on Uncle Harry, he reached into his jacket, pulled out a flask of whiskey, took a big drink, and proceeded to kill all the natives with his bare hands. "My, what a terrible story," said the teacher. "What can we possibly learn from such a story?" Little Billy replied, "You learn not to mess with Uncle Harry when he's been drinking." A preacher is delivering a sermon and he says, "Next week's sermon will be on the subject of lying. To prepare you for it, I want you all to read Mark chapter 17 before next Sunday." The next Sunday, the preacher stepped up to the pulpit and said, "Before we get underway, how many of you read Mark chapter 17? Every hand in the small church went up. The preacher then said, "Well, Mark only has 16 chapters. Now I'll proceed with my sermon on lying."